So I would say some things that I learned about myself is kind of my learning style. My learning style is very hands-on, tactile, visual. I learn through experiences. I have a very hard time just sitting there and looking at a book and being able to understand that information. And so I think how that has helped me now in my role as an elementary principal, and prior to that as a teacher, is I really tried to take my own background and try to apply it to the students that I work with. And so recognizing that when you have a class of 25 students, they do not all learn the same way. And it's really important that we as educators really genuinely try to get to know all of our kids and find ways to connect our instruction to each of their needs to make their learning experience the best that we can. Working in Strongsville, I will be forever grateful. I have grown up here in the Strongsville community. I went to Sarar, I went to Center, I went to the high school, and so the fact that I've come full circle, and this is now my, I think, 18th year here in Strongsville, I'm so blessed. I was able to get hired to work with my second grade teacher, Mrs. Dialag, who is also one of my other favorite teachers. And that experience was just a great way to start my educational journey. But I have worked at almost every school here in Strongsville now at the elementary level, and I've been able to see and meet so many great people that I knew when I was a student, and now I'm working alongside them as an educator, and I'm just so incredibly blessed. Strongsville provides such a wonderful learning opportunity for all of our students, and I'm just excited to be a part of it each and every day. I would say my favorite class was anything related to math. I was good with numbers, so I enjoyed algebra 2 trig. I will say geometry was not my favorite. I had a hard time with the shapes, but math would be my favorite class. That's an easy one. Mr. Klein. Mr. Klein was my all-time favorite teacher. I had him, I want to say it was my sophomore year. I think he had just started his career in teaching. I think it was his first or second year. And he was just phenomenal. He just made such an effort to understand me as a learner and how I learned best. And he took time before school, after school, really trying to meet me where I was at. And I think he really changed the trajectory for me with my learning with math, because he was able to kind of fill in some of those gaps that I had. And again, he just really learned who I was as a learner. So I will always be grateful for Mr. Klein. And I still get to see him at the high school, which is great. So one thing you may not know about me, but I have a background with music. I was involved with singing throughout my lifetime, and so my favorite club or extracurricular would be anything related to choir. So I participated in a show choir, not always the best dancer, but I was in show choir, and I was in cantorum with Mrs. Eicher, and that took up so much of my time. We would travel on the weekends and go to competitions, and I always loved going to class with Mrs. Eicher because singing was always a passion of mine. What I would tell my high school self is sometimes in that moment when you're in high school, you're with other kids, you're really trying to find where you fit. You're trying to see like, where's your group, and you explore different ones. What I, looking back on, have learned is there's those couple friends that I made who are genuinely my best of friends. And I may not have to have a whole large group of friends, rather than find those couple friends that really care about you, treat you the way that you want to be treated, and really work hard to continue building off of those relationships, because when you become an adult, those are the people that you want in your life and you want surrounding you in your life. And so I was blessed to be able to keep one very best friend who I met in second grade. And we are still best friends now, and our kids are friends and they play together. And I go back to those days in high school, and I know that that is the friendship that really counted and that kind of shaped who I am today.